Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lillian. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. So today I will be sharing my story. So I will be narrating the story of how I switched my career from agriculture and food security into software tech with no prior experience. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I will try to reply all of them. So guys, my master's degree was in food security. My bachelor's degree was in agriculture. These are things that I'm very passionate about. That hasn't changed. I just wanted something different out of life. And I've always loved technology, software right from a very young age. So I thought, why not? So initially, it was like taking a very big leap. In 2020, during the whole pandemic, I had a full-time job that I was doing at the time, but then I wanted to also break into tech. So how do I go about this? I said to myself, I decided to do online boot camps and use resources on YouTube. I was using mostly Udemy for the boot camp because I couldn't afford to pay the very expensive amount that other boot camps were advertising at the time, because my job wasn't paying me that much. So at the time, my husband gifted me a £10 Udemy course on full stack web development. Now, I've heard stories of people who buy courses online and never really finish it or never really get started, but that didn't stop me. I was so grateful to him and I started the course. So I would work 9 to 5 at work, and then I would come back home and I'll take this online course on Udemy for like 3 to 4 hours into the night, and then I would go to bed and then repeat the whole process the next day. So I did this for like 8 months, guys. Did this for like 8 months, and I started actively applying to jobs. So I'm going to try to walk you step by step as to how I got to where I am at the moment. So I decided to go into full stack development because the course that I was gifted, the Udemy course I was gifted, was looking at things such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Node.js for the back end, things such as Passport.js, other JavaScript frameworks, and styling frameworks, CSS, and I think maybe Tailwind, I wasn't really sure, and things such as MongoDB, Git, and GitHub. So it was fully packed for £10. I can confidently say to you that £10 was the only money that I spent in my entire journey up until this point. Free resources were always at my disposal because I searched the internet, I searched Google, YouTube videos and resources on online websites, such as university websites. These were really helpful, and I would like to say to anyone who has a full-time job, you can do it. You can do it on a full-time job. And I don't even want to get started with age, because people believe that when you get to a certain age, you shouldn't be making some kind of life decisions that would be like a major decision. But I was able to do it at my age, and I think you can do it at your age. I was 29 when I decided to switch, and I think you can do it. So going forward, after I finished 2 weeks into the bootcamp classes, I realized there was a Discord group for other learners. I joined the Discord group. I made a few online friends, people I've never met. We would bounce ideas off each other. And I just somehow kept on going. There were days where I felt it was too difficult to continue. There were days where I felt I'm too tired, I can't go on. But somehow I show up the next day. So I convinced myself that if other people could do it, I can do it. I found myself role models who are working in big tech companies, and I told myself, if this person could get there, I can get there. And I just kept on going. Another thing I would like to talk about is how I was able to, complete the boot camp. So, like I said, the boot camp was designed to last for as long as you want it to last. It's a boot camp, which means you don't need to show up every day to mark an attendance. It's self-paced, which means you learn at your own pace. So being that I was a busy person, that's why it took me a very long time to complete the course. Like I said, it took me 8 months. So if you are someone taking a gap year, if you're a student, if you're unemployed at this time, you might finish it in 3 months or 2 months. So once I was done with the boot camp, I also noticed that projects were required. What do I mean by projects? Personal projects, tangible projects to show. So during the boot camp, we were having to build projects. Like initially we used HTML to build online CVs. Then we learned about CSS for styling. We learned about JavaScript for functionalities. All of the projects that we built during the bootcamp, we were able to put them on our GitHub repository. Now, if you haven't heard of GitHub before, I will put the link down below. Also, I have a full video for GitHub alone, which I'll be posting in the coming weeks. But essentially, GitHub is a website where you can, sign up for free and post your code and your project on there so that you can share the link to potential recruiters or employers, your friends, your family. That is what GitHub is. So all the projects that we learned during the bootcamp, things I worked on, I was able to put them all on my GitHub repository, which helped me when I started applying to jobs. Okay, so because employers are not essentially interested in your certificates, they want to see your skills and what you can do, what you can bring to the table, your problem solving skills. And they will be able to see this from the projects that you've done, and also from how you are able to defend your project in an interview. So that is that. And then I want to get to the part where I finally felt it was time to start applying to jobs. This is where the problem started, guys. So I decided to start applying to jobs. My first job interview was like the worst interview I've had in my entire life, because I froze. I didn't even know what to say. I tried my best, but the words weren't coming. At the end of the day, I just left the interview so shattered, and I promised myself that I would not take any interviews again until I was ready. That brings me to the next thing I want to talk about. When would you consider yourself completely ready to apply to jobs if you're switching career into software tech? So I took a break from applying to jobs, and I seriously went into interview prep mode, because you have to be ready for something to get what you want. If I've learned all these amazing skills, but I can't convince employers to employ me, of what use is it? So I went ahead and took another big risk. I quit my job in September. I quit my job and had a full day, full time, focusing on my tech career. I've gotten to this point. I've gone through the learning of the skills. I've done everything I was supposed to do, but I needed to get the job. I want to get the job. So I had to quit my job, the one I was doing 9 to 5. I had to quit that job to be able to give myself the time and the opportunity to relax and take the tech applications seriously. So when I did that, I would wake up in the morning as usual, work on my portfolios, look at, you know, what project I could add to my GitHub, what I could do to improve myself, watch videos online on interviews and tech interviews and how you need to answer questions. And then I would work on my CV. So during that time, I was able to improve my online portfolio, improve my CV, improve my social media presence, which are what potential recruiters could be looking at. And then once I've done that, I started applying again. And what I noticed was that my self-confidence was here. My self-confidence really improved. I suddenly felt like I've got this, I can do this. And then I had an interview where they said I was amazing. You know, I was amazing was the word. But then they needed someone with 3 years work experience. I didn't get the job, sadly. So as someone coming into software tech as a newbie, you may face some challenges like employers not giving you the opportunity. The jobs are looking for 2 years experience, 1 year coding experience, 5 years coding experience for an entry level role. That is a major challenge, but there is a way you can find your way around it. So I was hitting the roadblocks, and all these insanely difficult requirements, 5 years experience and all of that, I said to myself, this cannot stop me. What do I need to do? This was at the point where I changed my strategy. I stopped applying to small companies and started applying to big companies within the UK, because I felt if I apply to big companies, they have enough resources to take on board someone who is new into technology. They have enough resources to train me. They also have enough, they might not really expect me to start delivering projects from day one. They have enough resources to put me in touch with a mentor within the team or within the organization. So I started applying to bigger companies, and that's when my story changed. I started hearing back from them. They were interested in an interview. I went from first stage interview, second stage, third stage, and some of them I got to the final stage. The fourth stage had to do with coding assessments on platforms such as Codility, HackerRank. I even became too confident and I applied to Cisco. I applied to Cisco, guys, and they got back to me with the next stage, and I freaked out and I didn't attend the next stage. Oh my god. So honestly, I heard back from some of the companies for a coding assessment. This was where I hit another roadblock. Now, the coding assessments were on HackerRank or Codility. I've never heard of these platforms before. I know of HackerRank because sometimes when I search for resources on Google, they show up. But I didn't know that there was a part of HackerRank that had something to do with practicing your how you can code, especially algorithms and data structure questions and things like that. And at this point, I also learned about lead code. I'd never heard of that before. So when these things presented itself, what did I do? I took another break to try to understand what this task expected of me, to try to understand how to solve the problems that they were asking me to solve. So I went into the very large world of data structures and algorithms, which, believe me, I found really scary, guys. I found really scary. But then I set up an account on all the platforms. I showed up every day to solve a problem, a programming problem. If I failed it, I would look at other people's solution to see how well they did and try again. I kept trying again and trying again until I got enough knowledge to be able to solve some of my assessment challenges on Codility platform. I also went into learning Python for that purpose. Now, when you're solving challenges on platforms such as Codility, HackerRank, or LeetCode, You're allowed to solve the problem in any language of your choice, any programming language of your choice. So I found Python really more friendly, in that regard. So I started learning Python with a course called 100 Days of Python Code Challenge. And with the knowledge of Python, I was able to, improve my skills in problem solving in some of the algorithm questions. And once that happened, I got my confidence back and I was able to go on ahead again to start applying for jobs. And then I got to the final stage of 4 different companies, and then I got to the final stage of one very not so small but medium-sized company. But then they made me an offer which I had to turn down. The reason I turned down the offer was because the benefits that they were offering were not, you know, were not what I wanted for myself. That will bring me to the next thing about, do you tell an employer how much to pay you? Do you have a negotiating power? I'll come back to that later. So I turned down this job offer. This was me. I got into tech from a non-tech background, no previous experience whatsoever. Now, after months and months of applying, someone offered me a job, but the job was paying way less than the industry average, and I turned it down. How did I get that confidence to do that? Why would I do that? Shouldn't I have taken the job and learned on the job and improved on the job, and somehow maybe my salary will improve, or maybe I will quit and go elsewhere and earn more? Should I not have done that? But I didn't do that. I just turned down the offer. And 1 month after I turned down the offer, I got my current job. And my current job was everything that I was looking for. It's a very big company, a global company. So they've got the resources to train me, the resources to, pair me up with a mentor or any kind of support that I wanted. And also a very good company culture, which is something that is at the top of my list in terms of who I'm looking for in an employer. And the opportunities to progress are endless. As someone new into software development, I couldn't ask for any better place to start off my career. So sometimes denial or rejection is not final. Sometimes it just redirects you in a completely different direction, which at the end of the day might be for your own good. So going back to the other stuff I wanted to say, mentors can teach you things you never knew existed. A mentor was able to teach me that you need to calculate all your monthly expenses, your rent, your bills, feeding, car, any expenses at all. Even if you have kids, the expenses for, comfortable life for your family, you need to calculate that in a month. How much will be able to solve your monthly problems, like all the things you have to take care of? How much will be able to address that in a month? When you've decided that, then when you're looking for a job, you should be able to find a job that will meet those needs or exceed the expectation. You should never have a reason to go below. This was what a mentor taught me. And it went a long way to help me make decisions in my career, in this new career. Because otherwise, I would have accepted that low-paying job, very, very low-paying job. And then I would regret why I accepted that job, because I wouldn't be able to meet up on my bills or, pay my rent and stuff. And then I would get really stressed out and not even pay attention in the job. And then feel like I can't solve problems because I don't get paid enough to solve the problems. So why put yourself in such difficult positions when you can just try again and hope for better? So I'm really excited, guys, that I get to share this story. The main aim of sharing this story is not to be like a motivational speaker in quotes. Things are not easy, but I just want you to know that they are doable. If you persist long enough, you will get the dream job you're looking for. if you decide to go into tech because you want a better life for yourself, because you're passionate about it, just be persistent. Just keep trying, keep showing up. Every single day you wake up, show up. If you promise to do 100 days of code, show up every day and try. And if for any reason you couldn't show up for 1 day, for 2 days, I was missing in action for 1 month. I traveled for my wedding, and then I came back and I wasn't even sure what HTML was, and I had to go back and I had to, like, oh my god, it left me. So if you leave it, it leaves you, but you have to come back to it. So I came back. I had to do a refresher for things I already learned to bring myself up to speed. So even if you slack for a few days, for a couple of weeks, remember to come back. Just remember this, the reason you started. This is why finding your motivation is the first step to getting into the tech career in the first place, because some days will get tough and your passion, your motivation will keep pushing and keep pulling you through those dark times. So guys, I hope I've been able to cover everything. If I haven't been able to cover everything, don't worry. We're going to be seeing each other for almost a long time to come. So I will be updating the videos with anything I remember, anything I've missed out on. And you guys, if you have any contributions to make or you have anything to say, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And other than that, that's all from me today. Thank you guys for sitting around and listening to my story. I'm looking forward to hearing your success story as well. Thank you. Take care. Look after yourself. Bye.